I've noticed that the way business was done 10, 15 years ago has changed dramatically. We've been paying down debt for 14 years or so, 12 years. What do we need to do to grow? They often refer to an area in Ohio where lightning has struck twice. Great job, anyways, of selling the city to them. What's really nice is that you can actually see people are taking interest just because the mayor says there's a new business coming in. Let's be honest, I don't think anybody came to meet the mayor. They came to get the 50% off. And I find it funny because I never look at myself like I'm a celebrity. People came because they saw opportunity to be able to grow a business and grow a city as well.
Hello, this is OHBC, and I want to make really interesting introduction today for Matthew. But before, I want to make a little bit of note. Imagine when you open your business, entire city will help you. So you're not doing this alone. In front of me, it's Matthew Burke. He is mayor of Garfield Heights. And I promise you, you want to hear what he says, how a city can help to grow your business. Matthew, welcome.
Well, hey, thank you for having me here. This is nice. I'm impressed with your setup here. This is great.
Thank you. Matthew, let me actually share more information of a little bit of your background. And I know you also know a lot of things about how to run business, and now you are mayor. So let's just unfold what would be your journey to start as a business, work maybe, right? And then become a mayor.
Well, I spent 35 years in the floor covering business as a retailer, working in retail. I've also worked in wholesale and manufacturing throughout 35 years. So I've called on different businesses, and I've also dealt with the customers directly. Throughout 35 years, I've noticed that the way business was done 10, 15 years ago has changed dramatically with the invention of some of the electronics that we have, the technology we have, things like that. So there's a lot of ways that business is done today, but the networking part of it is really what's most important. From a city standpoint, I never saw myself being a mayor. Mm-hmm. And I got to a point where in my community, there was a mayor that was retiring, and there was really nobody experienced to step up and do the job. So I decided to throw my name in the ring. And when I got in there, and when I got elected, I realized that there were things that the city could do to help the businesses, the local businesses, and to help businesses that want to come in. Give you a little history of Garfield Heights. Back in 2008, 2009, the city was in financial difficulty. We had entered into fiscal emergency, and that was just for a short period of time. We came out of fiscal emergency back in 2010, and just knowing that the city was financially cash-strapped, financially strapped, businesses weren't coming in. I looked at the situation when I became a mayor and said, what do we need to do to grow? Because we've been paying down debt for 14 years or so, 12 years. What do we need to do to grow? And of course, to bring revenue into the city, you have to have businesses. You have to redefine the city, so to speak. And that's what I set out to do, was to redefine the city.
So under your leadership, you brought about 50 plus businesses. That was a lot of money, I think millions of dollars in grants and the expansion growth in the city. How you were able to achieve that?
The biggest thing for me was to literally market the city. When you have a base of people that just look at the city and they weren't very energetic about it, about talking about the city. I was energetic about talking about the city and said that we are going to talk about the features and benefits of a city. Our feature was that we were located centrally in Cuyahoga County. And the benefit to that is that you can move products. If you're moving products from within a 3-hour radius, you can actually cover a large footprint from Garfield Heights. So there was a clear benefit as to why you want to move to Garfield Heights. The other thing is we had areas where you could have your economic base can grow. If you are literally bringing a business in, it was easy access in our area. So we were able to talk about those type of things. And what we saw was there were some issues where we had to have brownfields that needed to be remediated. And we talked to those business owners and we talked to those developers, those landowners. We were able to go out to the state, get about $12 million worth of brownfield remediation grants. And then one of our defunct shopping centers was purchased, and they did that was where some of the remediation occurred, and it just sparked growth. And in the state of Ohio, when they talk about brownfield remediation, when they talk about that, they often refer to an area in Ohio where lightning has struck twice. And they said it happened in Garfield Heights with a shopping center that was originally built on a former landfill that had been remediated, that kind of died because of the way retail is today. And then, bringing in manufacturing and distribution, which is what my background was, is that you basically can move product within a 2-3 hour radius to some of the best major metropolitan areas around this area: Pittsburgh, Wheeling, West Virginia, Detroit, Indianapolis, Columbus, Cincinnati, all of those. You can cover that just out of where we're at. Just networking with the people, but getting those brownfields really sparked, bringing in growth. We had a business at the time that was looking to move to our city, and I tried to do the best sales job I could at promoting our city, and it worked. We did offer some, payroll, job growth, tax incentive, but for the most part, people came because they saw opportunity to be able to grow a business and grow a city as well. It was a good partnership.
Exactly looking for in our community is how we can collaborate together. And, it's actually really interesting. A lot of our viewers are immigrants. And as we know, you're also a son of immigrant, right? You are first Asian American that been chosen as a mayor of Garfield Heights. You have that perspective of being a first in the family, being a first, just to understand that perspective and growth that, you could be an immigrant, but you also could be a mayor. And that's huge difference what you make for all community, including immigrant.
I will say that, growing up with my mom from Thailand, she was born and raised in Thailand, and our heritage really traces back to China. What was really telling for me is that as the world changed, and I've probably been studying the U.S. economy for over 20 some years. When we went from just a U.S. economy to a global economy, which is where everything's at now, you have to understand that businesses can come from anywhere in the world. Immigrants have really been a success story in the United States for years. I can tell you, I know multiple people that are from other countries that have come to the Cleveland area and built their businesses, some of them now in their second and third generations. And I don't know if it's just, I have a lot of, I want to say, admiration for the work ethic of people that come from another country. I saw it with my mom. My mom came to the United States. She barely spoke English, ended up having her own business as a restaurateur, and was very successful at it. Went from somebody who just didn't have anything to being able to really make a good living and have a successful life, because she wasn't afraid to take the risk. She knew what it was like to struggle, and she wasn't afraid to struggle and take a risk. And it paid off for her.
And yeah, that's the whole story. If you are taking a risk and you're willing to take that risk, there's a lot of opportunities in Cleveland, in Ohio, in the United States. So we are so glad that you can hear this, not just from us, but actually from a mayor and from the city.
You know, the United States is a land of opportunity, right? And so if you take that land of opportunity, all the opportunities that we have here, and you apply yourself, you still, I mean, I believe in the American system that you can still build a good way of life. I think in some ways our own children, like my children, some of them, both of them, actually think that they graduate from college and become the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. That's not what happens. You know, if you apply yourself, if you apply the work ethic, if you put yourself into it with passion, and that's the thing, you have to have the passion. You have to have, I always tell young people, you have to have a vision. You have to have a goal, and you have to have a plan. And if you can do all that, work the plan, you will be successful in the United States. And we want you to be successful, of course, in Garfield Heights. So that's the methodology here.
Let's talk about opportunities, right? Like, let's talk how small business or even big business can collaborate with city. What grants maybe, what resources, network already available to use them today?
Well, we partner with the state of Ohio, Department of Development. We also partner with Cuyahoga County, the Department of Small Business, Vaughn Johnson. There's a lot of opportunities that they offer. As a city, we're still developing some of the things that we want to develop. And one of those things is developing an economic development fund that helps to create things like, if we know you want to come to our city, I'll give you a perfect example. We have a Walgreens location on Turney Road that has just closed. We know that there'll be businesses that want to come into that location, but we also know that when they come, there's costs involved. They're going to have to redesign the showroom. They're going to have to maybe do some lights and make some repairs and things like that. We want to have an economic development fund that's going to help offer funding to help with the design work, with maybe the renovations. If it's not a grant, even a low interest loan, you know, that the city can provide. Those programs are also being done through Cuyahoga County in the state of Ohio. And just making it aware to people that want to come and bring their businesses to Garfield Heights, to know that there are those buckets of money and opportunities. We want to make sure that we know about those and help people to be able to apply for them.
Excellent. And I hope you use that opportunity. But also, as we mostly cover in our immigrant community. So we have a lot of people who came here using like different programs, right? Who might not have all adequate credit. What would you suggest for exactly those people who are most vulnerable, but also have a huge desire to open the business?
I would say, you know, again, reaching out to especially Cuyahoga County Office of Small Business. There are so many minority and immigrant type of programs that they have that will help. Those are some of the things that we really need to make sure we let people know, especially if they're coming from another country to make a living here. That is something that is important.
We also might actually have investors. Overseas investors. So, you know, the collaboration, it might be not that they need a fund, but they also has to go through all this, you know, like most of us are afraid of bureaucracy and all these things like, oh, I applied, it will take me 2, 3, 5 years just to hear from someone. That's one of the kind of a first impression, what we have back in our countries mostly, it's huge bureaucracy. And I just want to show like how easy was actually access to Matthew. And I actually have his cell phone. He just gave it to me. And that was really impressed of that. If you have a plan, if you have a project, if you have a fund, if you don't have a fund, there's something else could be done. And we can create mutual win-win situations that city is on the back of you to help you, not just to give you more roadblocks on the way to become a business owner.
I think networking is the biggest key to that. You have somebody that comes in with resources, with funds that they want to invest. we have people here that are willing to work with that investment. I like to connect those people. And then what happens is you plant the seed and you watch it grow, and there's so many things about workforce, like even the workforce development part of it. I've seen where immigrants have come here from Mauritania, from Poland, Ukraine, even like some of the people I know that are Asian that have come here from China, Thailand, Vietnam. They come here with a skill, and that skill set is something that we need here in the United States because we don't have workers that do those type of things. And I think that when you pair everybody up and you network, plant that seed and you watch it grow.
That's amazing. Also, can you share us a recent project that actually happened with Italian, right? Who opened a first in Ohio, a business, and they're immigrants. Can you share more of their story?
Yes. They were just actually at our planning meeting last night with their plans. They are called Padel Square, and Alejandro. It's a sport that is actually up and coming. It's, I guess, very popular in Spain, very popular in Mexico. It was invented in Mexico. It is a blend of tennis and racquetball squash. First of its kind in the United States. Well, the first of its kind in the state of Ohio. And I'm proud of the fact that they came and they met with me probably a month ago. And I think I did a great job anyways of selling the city to them and talking them into coming. But they are coming to Garfield Heights and bringing their business here and taking a chance. And one of the things that I committed to them was, there's going to be a partnership where we're going to help promote you. We're going to help promote your business. We're going to help promote this sport. I played tennis in high school. I probably cannot play tennis today because my feet are bad. But I play pickleball sometimes, and I love the sport. But this sport has got me intrigued, And what's really nice is that you can actually see where people are taking interest just because the mayor says there's a new business coming in, And I find it funny because I never look at myself like I'm a celebrity. But in my city, I have a lot of meetings. I do a lot of public engagement. And it's really to keep our residents informed as to what's going on. But when I'll get people that will approach me all the time and say, Mayor, what is paddle or what is padel? And again, technology, you open up, you show them the YouTube video, and there you go, and that's just the way things work. And we've already networked Alejandro and Matisse and everybody there with you guys and with a few other people in the county. People are very excited about them. It's good to see. It's good to see that interaction.
We're actually so excited. We're probably going to meet with them too and hear their story. But here's a little remark. Imagine a mayor going to promote your own business in the city. That's something new. That's not the marketing that you're used to. It's not paid ads. It's not just like a Facebook marketplace. It's actually a mayor of the city wants you to succeed. And that's completely different level.
We just had, I have an event that we just tested it out with one of our businesses. There is a business called Arthur Treacher's. They've been around for a long time, but their brand has, the restaurants have actually closed over the years. There's only 3 of them left. They're back, they're growing again. One of them is in Garfield Heights, one of the original ones. And we had an event, and I worked with the owner of Arthur Treacher's. We had an event that we called Around the Town Meet and Greet with the mayor. And of course, there's this great big picture of me on a banner that says, here we are today. And I'm different than the other mayors in Cuyahoga County. I think I'm not afraid to utilize technology. So I'm out there with my camera phone doing Facebook Live and promoting, hey, I'm here today at Arthur Treacher's. We're giving 50% off fish dinner just for coming in today. Now, for me, it's not about being the mayor. Let's be honest. I don't think anybody came to meet the mayor. They came to get the 50% off. But if the mayor could be a conduit of making that happen, then why not do it? So since we did that one, I have other businesses saying, hey, will you do that for us too? And I said, absolutely. What do you want to give away? It's whatever you want to give away. I don't have a problem trying to advertise that as well. So, and as long as it works, because you know what, the businesses that come into Garfield Heights, they're part of the community. And I want them to feel like they're part of our community. So when you do community events, you want to make sure that you include those businesses.
Absolutely. And I cannot agree more. And that's why we're so excited to have you, just to show the options, the possibilities that you probably were not aware. Running a city, it's like running your own business. What kind of advice could you give as a leader and a mayor to people who are just started the business? It's probably similar, right? But what would be your personal advice for business owners?
I say this all the time, and especially in some of the leadership coaching that I do. Every leader, whether they're great leaders or not, every leader has three things in common. They have a vision, they have a goal, and they have a plan. And you can't have one without the other. You're not going to be a good leader if you just have a plan, but you don't have a vision. And for me, when I took over the city of Garfield Heights, I had this vision of what Garfield Heights could be like, given the right type of things. And once you have this vision, then you figure out, all right, let's set a goal. Because you could have a bunch of different things on your radar as a vision. But maybe you just start with one thing. And that the goal is to, okay, we're going to find out if we can get development going in Garfield Heights. What is the goal? Development. What's the plan? Well, first thing we did was looked at our zoning. And we saw that zoning is very prohibitive. It makes it harder for people to come in and do business. So we had to fix that. So the plan then was, let's fix the zoning. And then we fixed the zoning, and now businesses are starting to inquire. And then the next plan is, let's get tax abatement in place and the financial aspect of tax and criminal financing and things like that. Then that becomes the next part of the plan. And eventually, when you hit that goal, when you achieve that goal, you go back to your vision and you say, oh, what's next? And you just keep doing it. That's what we've been doing in Garfield Heights. I put together a team. I shared my vision. I said, let's set a goal for this. And we worked a plan. We developed the plan. We worked it till we achieved that goal. And then we're on to the next part of the vision process. And I say that to everybody. If you're going to start a business, if you're just going to, maybe your goal is to one day become rich and famous, but you start with, start small, achieve that goal, and then go back to the vision.
And just piled up until you become a next
until you run out of time, right? I mean, it keeps you going. It's fun.
Yeah.
If you really have the passion for it.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Mayor.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And just want to kind of have a summary of what city can possibly do for you. So it is your partner here. Plus, there's so many opportunities that you might not be aware. Talk to city, reach out to your local city, see what is there. Maybe it's so many things that you're just not aware. And maybe there's another mayor sitting right there and thinking, okay, what is my goal to bring the business into my city, into my town? So we hope that this podcast will kind of open up more vision for you and open up a lot of opportunities and actually let you think, what can you do? And just a little bit if you are interested to open a business in Garfield Heights, we can reach out and give you direct contact with Mayor. So that will be probably a great option for you to grow. And as myself, we actually meet, and I saw so many opportunities, so grateful. So we are actually interested to grow something with our own initiative, and just want to think and make sure that you also could be part of it. All right, that was OHBC, Ohio Business Community. We're going to give more information. You can how to reach out, comment section. Thank you for watching. And Matthew, thank you so much to be part of this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.